Hello friends and welcome back to Everything MTG. My name is Justin. We're glad to have you here. We're going to be covering, I suppose you would say, day 3 of Ultimate Masters spoilers. Got some more spicy cards here, so it's looking pretty exciting. We're going to kick right off with Resurrection. 2 and 2 white for sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Not too bad. This is at common. It's a little sad that it's only from your graveyard. It'd be great if it was from another graveyard, but for 4 and in white, that's not too bad, although I've seen better effects in white. Our next card is Sigil of the New Dawn, 3 and 1 white for an enchantment. Whenever a creature is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay 1 and 1 white. If you do, return that card to your hand. This is a very similar effect to one of the gods from Theros. I can't remember which one it is. Is it green, blue? Not entirely sure. Anyways, that's a pretty good effect, especially in white. As an enchantment, that's not bad at all, and if you're playing non-tokens, actual creatures, this could be really good for you. The next card we have here is an oldie but a goodie. It was part of a major deck in Modern, if I'm not mistaken. It's Golgari Grave Troll. So Golgari Grave Troll is 4 and a green for a what I assume to be troll. It enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it for each creature card in your graveyard. You can pay 1 to remove a 1/1 counter from Golgari Grave Troll and regenerate it. And it has Dredge 6. So this was part of the Dredge archetype in Modern. As I'm aware, if you're not aware what Dredge does, it's a very old mechanic. If you would draw a card, instead you may put exactly 6 cards from the top of your library into your graveyard. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Otherwise, draw a card. So this is a pretty powerful effect, especially given that it enters the battlefield with a number of 1/1s on it for each creature card in your graveyard. You can remove a 1/1 to regenerate it. Very hard to remove. It could be very powerful. So that's pretty great to see a reprint like that. Although I know Dredge was hit a while back pretty hard in Modern when they banned. I can't remember what card it was, but they banned 1 or 2 key pieces that really brought it down from a top tier deck. I'm sure it probably is still a top tier deck, but it's not as good as it was. Anywho, our next card is Become Immense, 5 and 1 green for an instant. Delve. I'll cover Delve again quickly. Each card you exile from your graveyard while casting this spell pays for 1 colorless of its cost. Target creature gets +6/+6 until end of turn. This can be a pretty big surprise, especially if you're playing Infect. This can be really, really stupid. I mean, casting this for 1 green at instant speed and giving something +6/+6 is utterly crazy, so that's really cool. We have Nourishing Shoal as our next card. It's X and green for an instant. You may exile a green card with converted mana cost X from your hand rather than pay this spell's mana cost. You gain X life. So, I'm not entirely sure if this is, what do I want to say, a normal green effect. I mean, I know green likes to gain life sometimes off things like Primal Command and whatnot. Let's see, you may exile a green card with CMC X from your hand rather than pay this, and you gain X life. I don't know. That seems like a strange effect in green. I don't know why you would need to gain or want to gain life that badly, but it has its uses, so it's interesting. The art on it is amazing. I'll put it. I'm going to put some of these cards on here for you guys. They're going to be in a different language, and the reason for that is the art is altered for this set typically. Otherwise, I would just put the regular card up there for you, so that way you guys can see what the new card looks like. Our next card is Frantic Search. It is 2 and 1 blue for an instant. You draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards, and untap up to 3 lands. So basically, casting this is free. You do a little loot action. Very powerful effect. It's in common, so that's even better. If you were going to draft this set, this could be helpful for you in blue. Neat card. The art on this is pretty sweet looking too, so I like that. Next up we have Talrand Sky Summoner, one of Amanda's favored merfolk. She loves merfolk. 2 blue and 2 for a 2/2 legendary merfolk wizard. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 2/2 blue drake creature token with flying. So this can quickly overwhelm the board with flyers. If you're playing a lot of instants and sorceries, like Summon the School, If you're playing in Commander, you can just quickly pump out so many creatures between Summon the School and this. It's utterly insane. So it's a very powerful card. Not really worth any money or anything, but I do like the card personally myself. Speaking of money cards, we have Chainer's Edict, which is 1 and a black for a sorcery. Target player sacrifices a creature with flashback 5 and 2 black. This card is at the uncommon level. It's worth about, let's see, shuffle there. It's worth, I'm going to give you guys the TCG player normal market price, which is $6.96, but I can find it as low as, let's see here, I can find it as low as 4, but I'll just give you guys the market price. The market price is inflated typically, but it's just easier to do it that way. So this is a low value card, but it's still a powerful card, and it's pretty cool to see it here. We have a Containment Priest reprint, which was, I believe, only ever printed in Commander 2014. So it's great to see those Commander cards that maybe not are considered staples, but are very powerful. They were only ever printed in one set, and they're being reprinted here. Containment Priest is 1 and a white for a 2/2 human cleric with flash. If a non-token creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it instead. This is an extremely powerful effect for Commander, where people are cheating things into play all the time, or maybe going on some crazy combo wombo. So that is great. It's currently sitting at the rare level, and the market price on this from Commander 2014 is $20.78, because as I'm aware, it was only ever printed in that set. So this is a moderate to high money card. It's really nice to see this reprinted. It's a very powerful card, useful in my opinion, and dropping the price would certainly be beneficial to all of us. So it's great to see. We have Sovereigns of Lost Elara, 4 colorless, 1 white, 1 blue for a 4/5 spirit with Exalted. If you're not familiar, whenever a creature you control attacks alone, that creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, you may search your library for an aura card that could enchant that creature, put it onto the battlefield attached to that creature, then shuffle your library. Exalted is a fairly powerful mechanic. I haven't really seen it played too crazily in Commander, but I know this card definitely has the power to be powerful if you build around it. Obviously, it can't be your Commander, but you can make it part of your overall game plan. Sovereigns of Lost Elara is sitting at a very low value. I'm not covering anything under $5. It's sitting at $5.12, so it's barely sitting at just enough low value to feel like you've gained something if you pull this out of a pack. So it's not definitely not a bad pull at the rare level. Our next card is Flagstones of Trocaire, a legendary land sitting at rare. It is tap, add white. When Flagstones of Trocaire is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may search your library for a plains card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. When I first saw this, I thought it was a kind of weird effect for white, but I guess if you pair it up with something like green, with a sacrifice outlet on your lands, you can just start pumping out plains like crazy. Currently, the card is sitting at a moderate to high value of $20.75, last seeing a reprint in Time Spiral. So this is another card that hasn't been reprinted in a long time. I'm very happy that they're doing a lot of these reprints that have not seen printings in years and years. And these cards are starting to get out to like a ridiculous price, like $20.75 for this is kind of ridiculous. So this is a great addition. We have Fiery Temper, which is 1 and double red for an instant. It deals 3 damage to any target, and it has Madness cost 1 red. Madness is if you discard this card, discard it into exile. When you do, cast it for its Madness cost or put it into your graveyard. So this card was printed in Shadows over Innistrad or Eldritch Moon, I'm not sure. So not that long ago. At the common level, it's a great removal card for 3. You're probably not going to Madness this if you're doing this in a draft or anything. I don't see how you would, because it doesn't really seem to be a theme here. But it's still a great removal card, so if you end up playing draft on this, Boom. There you go. You're sitting pretty if you're rolling red. Our next card up is Fauna Shaman. 1 and 1 green for a 2/2 elf shaman with some amazing art. If you guys ever played World of Warcraft, this reminds me of World of Warcraft a lot. You can pay 1 green, tap, discard a creature card, search your library for a creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Very powerful effect. If you're playing this in Commander, you can easily fetch up some of your big fatties with this thing. It's utterly crazy. And at the rare level, it's a great thing that it's seeing a reprint. It's sitting at a moderate value of $14.15 due to the last printing being Magic 2011, and I believe that is it. Yeah, just Magic 2011. So this hasn't seen a reprint in a very long time. It's nice to see it back, and I'm interested to see if anybody's going to pick it up and you know, how they're going to play that out. It looks pretty cool. I wouldn't mind making an elf commander deck, but one person in our group already has it, so I haven't done it. Although I have built 60 cards around elves and stuff. I haven't played 60 card in a while, but I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. That could be fun. Next up on the docket, we got Circular Logic. 2 and 1 blue for an instant. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 1 for each card in your graveyard. It has Madness for 1 blue. Seeing Madness on a blue card, which is... Madness is typically a black and a red mechanic, is really, really weird. I don't know whoever is going to make you discard this, that you're going to need the Madness set? Seems really weird, but the effect is pretty powerful that they have to pay 1 for each land in your graveyard. That does sound really cool if this was at 1 mana, or maybe even 2 mana. But the fact that this is a 3 mana counterspell that is reliant on your graveyard seems really weird, since you can just play the 2 mana OG counterspell, or you can play the 3 mana cancel. Now I know you might say, oh well that's what the madness cost is, this is a 1 mana blue, but how are you, I mean maybe if you're playing like Windfalls and stuff, this would be good, but you would have to instant speed Windfall and then Madness this. I don't see how that would work. It's just really weird. It's a strange thing. Our next card is Magus of the Bazaar. 1 blue and 1 for a 0/1 human wizard. Tap, draw 2 cards, then discard 3 cards. Interesting effect if you're trying to activate Search for Escanta. This is in Commander, of course. If you're trying to activate Search for Escanta, or maybe Baby Jace, trying to flip a Baby Jace. Other than that, looting 2 and discarding 3 seems bad. But I'm sure it has its uses in discard decks and things like that, or self-mill strategies. So, it has its uses. We have Sublime Archangel up next. 2 colorless and 2 white for a 4/3 angel with flying, exalted, and other creatures you control have exalted. This is sitting at the rare level. The Exalted mechanic is very powerful. With something like this, you could be able to play Exalted in Commander. I know I've played against people casually. We don't really stick to Modern or Legacy or anything like that in 60 card, and they had an extremely powerful Exalted deck. I mean, it just gets so stupid. And for each creature that you have that has a separate instance of Exalted, when you swing with that one creature, it gets +1/+1 till end of turn from each trigger of Exalted. So if you had 3 creatures on the field and you swung with the one creature and each one had Exalted, including the creature that's swinging, it would trigger 3 times. So it becomes very powerful. The nice thing about this is it's at the rare level, and it's sitting at a lower value of $7.05 market price on average. The other nice thing about it is it was printed in Magic 2013 as a mythic. It's now been downshifted to a rare. So I'd be interested in having the card, and I'm sure Amanda would like to have it too for one of her decks, like an Angel-ish deck I know that she plays. So we'll see how that goes. That'd be fun to have. Our next card is Foil. I have personal experience playing this card. It's great. 2 colorless and 2 blue for an instant. You may discard an island card and another card rather than paying the spell's mana cost. Counter target spell. This is the poor man's Force of Will. Which is why I love it. I've used it to some great effect when you're completely tapped out and you surprise somebody with this thing and it is downright hilarious. I believe, and I'll have to Google this quick, it was printed at Uncommon before. Yeah, It was. It was printed at uncommon and it was now downshifted into common. So that is crazy amazing. I love to see downshifts in rarity like this. The card wasn't really worth a lot of money. But it's just such a good card. I love seeing it here. We have Laboratory Maniac next, which is 2 and 1 blue for a 2/2 human wizard. If you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game instead. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this card in self-mill strategies and combo wombos and other things like that. He is currently a uncommon, so he's been downshifted from his previous rare status. He's a lower valued card currently. He was last printed in Innistrad, sitting at about $8.50, $8.25-ish. So it's nice to see that he's going to drop in value a little bit. I know this is used in some infinite combos or winning strategy combos with infinite draw in Commander. So I'm sure a lot of people could use this guy, and you know, even at $8, he's not that expensive. But I'd love to see him get down to 4 or 5. You know, help a lot of people out. That's great. We have Living Lore, which is 3 and 1 blue for a Star avatar. As Living Lore enters the battlefield, exile an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. Living Lore's power and toughness are each equal to the exiled card's converted mana cost. Whenever Living Lore deals combat damage, you may sacrifice it. If you do, you may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. Interesting card. I've seen it before. It's not really on my radar for anything, but it could be a good way to cast a very important spell for free. Maybe something like Nexus of Fate, or something completely dumb like that. Or, what's that, like Take Back Tomorrow, where you get 2 extra turns. It costs like 11 mana. This could be crazy good for something like that. Interesting card. Next up, we have Firewing Phoenix, which is 3 and a red. It's a 4/2 Phoenix with flying. It has 1 and triple red. Return Firewing Phoenix from your graveyard to your hand. This is your very typical Phoenix effect. It's not as good as the most recent Phoenix or Kindling Phoenix, but I don't think anything ever will be. So you have that. We have Magma, 3 and double red for a 4/4 elemental. You can pay 1 to sacrifice a 9-land permanent. Magma deals 1 damage to any target. Not bad, I guess. Seems like a very red effect. I could think of some strategies that would fit into, but I personally wouldn't play it just because I don't really play red. Hero of Lena Tower. Lena Tower? Lena Tower. 1 green for a 1/1 human warrior with heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Hero of Lena Tower, you may pay X. If you do, put X 1/1 counters on Hero of Lena Tower. This thing could easily get fat and out of hand, and I suppose in green you could give it trample pretty easily as well. So for 1 green, that's not bad at all. Travel Preparations is 1 and 1 green for a sorcery. Put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. It has flashback for 1 and 1 white. Pretty powerful effect. Usually cards like this I'm not in for, like giving 1/1 counters to things at the cost of 1 or 2 mana. Seems okay, but with that flashback effect you can essentially give up to 4 counters. So this is pretty powerful. We have Tethmos High Priest. Up next, it is 2 and 1 white for a 2/3 cat Clerk. With heroic, whenever you cast a spell that targets Tethmos High Priest, return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Not a bad effect in white, typical of the CMC 2 or less, or like CMC 3 or less. But if you manage to cast like a lot of auras or anything, enchantments that would target Tethmos High Priest, you can quickly get a lot of stuff back from your graveyard. So that's really cool. We have Miming Slime, which is 2 and a green for a sorcery. Create an XX green ooze creature token where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. This is at the common level. So at the common level, it's really not that bad. I've seen plenty of cards like this, and I never play them. But for 2 and 1 green at the common level, create an XX green ooze where X is the greatest power among creatures you control could be pretty powerful, even in a draft or limited format. That's neat. We have Slum Reaper, which is 3 and 1 black for a 4/2 horror. When Slum Reaper enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature. This is your typical Fleshbag Marauder. There's not much more to say about that. If you're playing like a Reanimator effect, this would be for you. Damir Guildmage is seeing a reprint. It is hybrid blue-black times 2. So you can pay 2 blue, 2 black, or any combination thereof. For a 2/2 human wizard, you can pay 3 and a blue. Target player draws a card. You can only activate this ability as a sorcery. Or you can pay 3 and 1 black. Target player discards a card. You can only activate this as a sorcery. Typical Damir effects, very inexpensive on the mana cost. It's at the common level. You'll probably see it a lot in draft. Not entirely sure on its usefulness. I mean, for something like limited or draft, you're going to want that card draw for later. So, I guess it couldn't be that bad. Cespspian's Stage is a land that taps to add waste to your mana pool, or you can pay 2 to tap it, and Cespspian's Stage becomes a copy of target land, except it has this ability. So this is an interesting card that you can definitely play in Commander, turn it into... I mean, I guess you can turn it into anything. You can turn it into a Homeward Path, you can turn it into an Arcane Lighthouse, you can turn it into a Strip Mine. So it's really nice to have a versatile land that can literally turn into anything. The only unfortunate thing is it's definitely like a side card, probably mid-later game, because you have to pay 2 and you have to tap it for it to become that land. So doing it in response on somebody's end step right before your turn would be the best thing for this. It's a really great card. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll pick one up. We have Desperate Ritual, which is 1 and a red for an instant arcane. Add 3 red to your mana pool. Splice onto arcane 1 and 1 red. As you cast an arcane spell, you may reveal this card from your hand and pay its splice cost. If you do, add this card's effects to that spell. This can be a very powerful effect. I've played Pyretic Ritual, which is essentially the same thing, but it doesn't have the splice on arcane. Given the splice onto... Let's see. Yeah, given the splice on Arcane and the fact that you can keep recasting this spell to get 1 mana every time, definitely has some combo potential. Interesting card. I mean, I loved playing Pyretic Ritual, so this is right up my alley. Although, I haven't played Red in a long time. I was playing a 60-card Elemental deck, and I would play this, and I would pump stuff out like crazy. We have Lava Spike seeing a reprint. It is 1 red for a sorcery arcane. Lava Spike deals 3 damage to target player or planeswalker. This is currently at the uncommon level, so I believe it's been upshifted since the last time it was printed, which was either Modern Masters or Champions of Kamigawa, take your pick. It was sitting, I know I'm not covering anything under $5, it's sitting at about $5.39-ish. So barely over $5, low value, but low value nonetheless is still great, and it's at the uncommon level, so you could pull a good handful of these. So that's pretty great. Nice little low value include. You know, of course we want to see the $20, $30 cards in here, but it's still nice to see these commons or uncommons that are worth a couple bucks that you're going to be pulling a majority of. You know, you only get 1 rare, 1 mythic in each pack, 1 rare or mythic in each pack. You get 3 of the uncommons, so the chance of you pulling this is pretty good, and you can sell it for $5 a pop. It's not bad. We have Woodfall Primus up next. 5 and 3 green for a 6/6 Tree Folk Shaman with Trample. When Woodfall Primus enters the battlefield, destroy target non-creature permanent, and it has Persist. When this creature dies, if it had no -1/-1 counters on it, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a -1/-1 counter on it. This is a very expensive card at 8 mana, but a very powerful card, being a 6/6 with Trample. The main effect here, in my opinion, is that they destroy target non-creature permanent and the Persist. I mean, this thing could just keep coming back like crazy. If you find ways to take the minus counter off it, or to give it +1/+1 counters, this thing is going to get so stupid, which is great. I mean, this would go in any green stompy deck, honestly. It's sitting at the rare level. It's currently a low value of about $8.44, last seeing a reprint in Modern Masters. So it's nice to have another nice include. I definitely wouldn't consider this bulk, but it's one of the lower priced rares in the set. But I wouldn't feel bad pulling this. This would almost pay for a pack on its own. So it would still be a non-feels bad moment if you pulled that, and that's one of the great things. Speaking of non-feel-bad moments, Revel Artist is seeing a reprint. 4 and 1 white for a 4/3 elemental with flying. When Revel Artist leaves the battlefield, return up to 2 target creature cards with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. You can evoke this for 5 and 1 white. If you're not familiar, evoke is you may cast the spell for its evoke cost. If you do, it's sacrificed when it enters the battlefield. The reason this isn't going to be a feels bad moment is because this card is great. It's used in so many combos in Commander, it's ridiculous. Now, it might feels bad when you realize the price isn't that great. I think it's like $2. But I would happily pull this card. Now, if it turned out to be a bulk card, and I pulled 10 of them, 5 of them, I'd be pretty mad about it. You know, pulling 1 or 2 of these isn't bad because it has so many applications in so many different decks. But other than that, hopefully it's not going to be like super bulk, but it's nice to see it here. Next up is Bridge from Below. 3 black for an enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, if Bridge from Below is in your graveyard, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Whenever a creature is put into an opponent's graveyard from the battlefield, if Bridge from Below is in your graveyard, exile Bridge from Below. This is currently sitting at the rare level. The market price on TCG is about 21.16. So this was last printed in Modern Masters. It's ridiculously expensive. That's moderate to high value. And I'm sure it has applications. I didn't really research into why this costs so much. To me, this card doesn't seem good at all. I mean, I'm sure there's arguments for like reanimator effects or something like that, but I mean, maybe it sees modern play or something. Because in Commander, I know this thing would just get exiled immediately out of your graveyard. Somebody's going to have something die so quickly, and boom, it's gone. So it's not good, in my opinion, in Commander. Let me know if you know of something that I don't know. But it does seem like a great card, and having another $20 include at the rare level does not hurt. We have Raya Dawn up next. 6 and 3 white for a 4/6 Legendary Angel. Yeah, it could be your Commander. Flying, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. As an effect, that's pretty powerful. As a 9-drop 4/6 flyer, that's pretty terrible. And that's all she does. She's not expensive or anything like that. I mean, she's fairly cheap value-wise. She's fairly expensive mana-wise. That's probably going to be a feels bad moment if you pull that in the pack. Apprentice Necromancer is up next. 1 and a black for a 1/1 zombie wizard. You can pay 1 black, tap it, and sacrifice the Necromancer. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature gains haste at the beginning of the next end step. Sacrifice it. Your typical black effect of returning something and having it sacrificed at the next end step, I suppose. I suppose a lot of colors have that effect. Not bad. You know, paying 2 to get it on the field and then paying 1 black, tapping it and sacking it to get something back for a big swing in or some sort of additional effect is crazy. So this is a neat card, sitting at the uncommon rarity. We have Devoted Druid, which is 1 and a green for a 0/2 elf druid. You can tap to add green to your mana pool, or you can put a -1/-1 counter on Devoted Druid to untap Devoted Druid. So you could, I guess, essentially pay 2 for this and then tap it for 2 if you're playing something like Atraxa and you can get a bunch of +1/+1 counters on it, or remove the -1/-1 counter from it. You can go infinite with this pretty quickly, so not a bad card at all, especially for Commander. Give me 1 second here. Too many cards to go over. Needed a drink. Disrupting Shoal is up next. It is X and double blue for an instant arcane. You may exile a blue card with converted mana cost X from your hand rather than pay this spell's mana cost. Counter target spell if its converted mana cost is X. This is sitting at the rare level with a, I would say, low to moderate value on TCG of about $12. Last seeing print in Betrayers of Kamigawa. I really like the art here. This has a very new Kozilek feel to it, where you have to exile something with the exact cost to counter something with the exact cost. I never considered those effects very good, unless you play around it hardcore. So this card isn't interesting to me, but another $12 include on the rare level is always welcome. Let's see what's up next. Spoils of the Vault. 1 black for an instant. Choose a card name. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a card with that name. Then put that card into your hand. Exile all other cards revealed this way, and you lose 1 life for each of the exiled cards. Interesting effect for 1 black at instant speed. This is essentially a tutor that could potentially kill you. I love cards like this. I'm sure it's not a bad card. It seems like a great card. And I love hilarious effects like that where you can, I would almost consider it like a chaos effect. So That just seems so great. I wonder if there's decks built around Spoils of the Vault. It seems so great. We have reprint of Daybreak Coronet, everybody's favorite enchantment aura. 2 white for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature with another aura attached to it. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3, has first strike, vigilance, and lifelink. Not a bad card. It is printed at the rare level. It's currently low valued at $8.81. Last printed in Modern Masters 2015. It's a fairly good card. Something I should probably be playing in SRAM. We do have one. We pulled a foil that we got out of a dollar store repack. Yeah, it cost us $1, and the foil's going for like, I don't know, 15 or something. So that was a pretty great day for us. And the art is just super cool. Slippery Boggle or Bogle, what do you guys say? Is seeing a print. It is 1 hybrid green or blue mana for a 1/1 beast with hexproof. The uh, the text on it is so hilarious. Ogle the boggle or goggle. No, ogle the bogle or goggle the boggle. Doesn't matter. You aren't going to catch it anyway. It's hilarious that they bring up the effect that everybody either calls it a boggle or a bogle. There's no like official statement on what you're supposed to be calling it. So it's funny that it calls attention to that. This card is very interesting. At one point in time, I was thinking about making a hexproof only deck because one of our friends was playing like something with flashback bounce removal or something. It was really annoying in a 60 card deck, anyways. So this was on my radar. Great card. I'm sure there's some application for it. I swear it's all playing some deck, Boggles deck or something. Pretty cool. We have Spider Umbra up next. 1 green for an enchantment aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has reach. And totem armor, if you're not familiar. Enchanted creature would be destroyed. Instead, remove all damage from it and destroy this aura instead. Replacement effect, great card. I love cards that were printed back in Zendikar. This is a Zendikar related card. Very cool. I've used it in multiple decks before. But there's better effects, but it's still really neat. I love totem armor. We have Helios Pilgrim seeing a reprint. It's a 2 and 1 white, 1/2 human cleric. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an aura card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. I don't think I play this in SRAM, and I need to play this in SRAM. Typical effect of just fetching up your auras or enchantments in white. This card has seen reprints everywhere. We have Hyena Umbra, and for whatever reason, it's in like Japanese. So I guess I gotta look at the other page for this. Hyena Umbra, 1 white, enchantment. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets 1/1 and has first strike with totem armor. Typical effect, came out in the same set as Spider Umbra or near the same set. It was in the same block. I've used both of these. I think I actually do play Hyena Umbra in my SRAM deck just because first strike and totem armor are amazing. We have Angel of Despair, 3, 2 white, 2 black, 5/5 angel with flying. What angel doesn't have flying? See if you can name one in the comments below. When Angel of Despair enters the battlefield, destroy target permanent. Pretty powerful effect there, being able to destroy any permanent. 5/5 flyer is not bad, but it costs 7. It's so expensive, and it's double white, double black. It's so heavy and into those colors. But it feels bad when Amanda drops that on the board in a Campbell deck and blows up one of your most important combo pieces or something. Yes, that's happened, so that sucks. Good card. This is at the uncommon level. I swear this was a rare. Just take a quick look. This video is starting to... This video is starting to take forever. I don't want to keep adding too much more time. Angel of Despair, printed in Guild Pact. Yes, it was a rare. Got downgraded to an uncommon, so that's pretty neat. And our last card for the day is Pattern of Rebirth. A lot of people are happy to see this get reprinted, although some people wanted Oracle of Moldiah, and we're not going to see Oracle of Moldiah, apparently, if this card's gotten printed, which sucks, because Oracle really needs a reprint. I really want one. 3 and 1 green for an enchantment aura with enchant creature. When enchanted creature dies, that creature's controller may search their library for a creature card. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle their library. Extremely powerful. Playing this off in Commander can get you something so huge and so dumb. Really good card. I mean, at the rare level, as a card, it's great. As value, I think it's only like $4. So not a total bulk, feels bad moment if you pull it. But Yeah, I wouldn't mind having that though. That's cool. The art on it looks pretty sweet. Looks like Saddleback Lagak. You know what I'm saying? Look that card up if you don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, guys, that is the end of spoilers for technically, I suppose you would say, day 3. If you guys enjoyed keeping up with the spoilers with me, leave a comment down below. I'd like to interact with you guys. Throw a like out there if you like the content and share it with your friends if you think they would like Magic the Gathering content. Subscribe if you're interested in seeing more of the same content or more Ultimate Master spoilers, as we'll be keeping up with them until they release the set, and then we'll be buying a 3-pack to open on camera and probably pull total bulk the whole way through. Anyways, we appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you next time right here on Everything FTG. Peace.